All right. Karthik, my friend, how you doing?
Hi, my friend. How are you? Are we on?
Yeah, I think we're on. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Camera moved.
All right. Yeah,
So,
welcome everybody.
on to another weekly squeeze session with your host, E.O.Breakers and Karthik. How are things, my friend?
Wonderful, great weekend, and hope everybody had a good weekend. And looking forward for the upcoming week.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be an interesting week. I think we still have a bearish momentum on the money calendar, so we'll take a look at that. We have an exciting agenda. We'll cover Karthik's views on the market events, the economic calendar. We'll take a look at the money calendar. As you guys know, we look at the last 10 years of trading patterns and see if there's anything that would be a trade pattern across this week. I think Karthik will take a look at Bitcoin and crypto up front as well, just because it's moving again. And then we'll look at the weekly squeezes on stocks and see if there's anything that we want to trade. What do you think, my friend? I think
Let's do that, and I hope people can take advantage of our sessions here. So let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Why don't we take a quick look at crypto? Just do Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then I'll come back to you on the market events for this week.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
All right, let me share my screen. The trading view application. All right, right here. So I'm just gonna move this here so I can look at you guys and talk. So Karthik, so when I look at Bitcoin, I actually did a little bit of a trading pattern analysis. I put this together, a forecasting behavior for Bitcoin. I expect next day or two a pullback on Bitcoin. We could go as low as probably like 45K. It already started to move. This is a 4-hour chart. Anywhere here, we should consider buy the dip, and then I think we start the the bull, like literally the second cycle of a full cycle. My first target is 53K and then 69K. If it follows the pattern from 2017 and 2013, this is kind of like the pattern. Like you actually go like this, you'll get a lot of range trading, but it didn't have. This is a 4-hour chart, so it'll show more than it can. Like, so you could see 85K.
What's how are you forecasting those
This
numbers?
is basically looking at because right now it's following very similar to the previous halving years behavior, and we have these squeezes setting up. It looks like this 4-hour one though, kind of leading towards the bottom here, but I think the squeeze will fire to the upside. Typically what happens with Bitcoin is it fakes you out. Like it makes a move to the downside, it takes you all the way here, takes some liquidity here, and then boom, it goes up. The other thing is fundamentally in October, guys, there are like 5-6 ETFs are in front of approval process. And we talk about this all the time. It's been so many times where ETFs get postponed. And I have a feeling, just given the developments internationally, U.S. will approve one of the ETFs, and that approval will probably create a massive move to the upside. So you can take a calculated risk this week, like have a stop, long here at 44, and just look up on Bitcoin. Like you would have a really good risk reward. That's the risk going from enter somewhere around 45. 47 to 45, and then your stop loss is at 44, and then you're looking at near term 53, 69, and then perhaps at the end of the year 85, if it repeats the same pattern as previous halving years, right? So we'll see. I mean, we have to also see how the inflation conversations go, because that always interest rates tapering, that'll have impact on Bitcoin. Let me see. Like I'll show you guys on a weekly chart how this looks like. We could go a lot higher if it really goes. It could really go crazy like previous times, and you could be looking at some really big numbers early 2022. So the way the market cipher is set up here, you have an absolutely perfect buy signal, Ross, on the weekly chart with squeezes. If you look at it here, and 20 and above is pretty good number, right, for pushes up. So we'll see how this momentum. Like I'd like to see this momentum wave turning here, Karthik. I want it to be like here. You see how it comes down like this, gives us a perfect buying opportunity, and then you get another wave and then another big wave. So my expectation is that that's that kind of wave. It's going to create the multiple waves, and it'll set up for this move. Now, you always have the regulatory risk, right? If regulators come and give us some bad news, we may just come back from this top and go into the bear market. That's a possibility. That's why you want to have the stop loss, like I said, around 44K.
Yeah.
Any questions, comments on that?
No, I think Bruce wants to know what tool are you using to project the future forecast, the gray AI line?
Oh yeah, that's in TradingView. If you go to like price patterns, bars patterns, I use this tool. So I go back and look at previous halving years and look at the behavior. Right now, we're really close to following the previous halving years, how Bitcoin behaved. All of this is exactly the same as before. So if it does the same thing, some people say we will have slower pullbacks and slower going up. That's a theory. Some people say basically because there's wide adoption, there's a little bit more stability, so it's not gonna act like previous halving years. I don't believe that. I think we're gonna end up with the same blow up top, where a significant move to the upside will happen, and it'll probably happen very quickly. It could even happen by the end of September if things go, and you could see a significant sell-off come back, and then you start the bear market afterwards. So you have to be prepared to. Here's my plan, right? Like look at this, the squeeze is setting up. Like then the daily scale. Look at this. It's going to be like this here. You see how much we moved? You went from 30K to 52K. So you got a $20,000 move coming here on the daily scale. Yeah, it's basically here. So it's very well positioned. So we may have like a similar types of move. So here's what I'm gonna do. I think, no matter what, I don't touch my long-term holding of Bitcoin. I just keep it forever. But for my trading account, I think we will watch Market Cipher. I might, definitely convert altcoin investments, some of the good projects, to, cash out to stable coins, and just wait for, bear market to take shape, and so we can get back in better prices. But I do think gaming and NFT market to be pretty resilient, especially with the adoption continuing. And I think there may be some little gems there that I might keep for the long term. So I'll be looking for those types of things. Very quick, Ethereum. Let's see. I think you're going to see Ethereum leading. Look at this. We have a blood diamond on Ethereum. So this is daily chart. So we're because we are above this triangle on Ethereum, guys. So I don't expect this thing to come down significantly. I think we'll just come and retest this support line, and that may give everybody a buying opportunity. So we could hit like 3,100 here on Ethereum. I would consider that a buy the dip. We'll see how this momentum wave completes, but I think another small wave is coming. But if we break this line, the trend line, I have drawn this like many weeks ago. So if we break this trend line and we go below this triangle, then all bets are off. So you have to be careful. Like the reason I say that, if we break this, right, because we're kind of forming a kind of weird head and shoulder here. But more importantly, look at how Ethereum behaved. Actually, I'll take this in the prior blood diamond, right? We went down all the way there. So price target for this blood diamond would be like this thing can go down to 2,600. But my view is that we're on the bullish trend, and this thing is going to test this support line. It'll give us a great buy opportunity here. Any bounce from here, confirmed buy. Basically as really, really, high targets. So that's what I'm expecting with 28 ADX. Yeah, I think it'll bounce from here, and then basically what happens is kind of both Ethereum leads Bitcoin. So we're going to see this before Ethereum, before Bitcoin. So I think what we do is we do a W here, and the breakout of this line here would be a buy signal. It'll probably test this, and then we'll have a W. Any questions, guys? Oh yeah, Hamid is asking Cardano. Let me do. Let's take a look at it while we're here. So, smart card invitation of Cardano will continue. I had a buy zone for Cardano here, but it broke down below it. So the next support area is this 216. If you don't bounce there, guys, this thing can, like the squeeze on Cardano doesn't look very good, especially on daily scale. It's kind of, but we'll see how, like, it may do something like this, and then we come back up. So I think Cardano smart contract, capability, they just enabled it, right? We have to see how developers react to that. There was a lot of expectation, and this is kind of sell the news that took place. So I think we need Cardano to settle down, and then we can decide. I actually liquidated a lot of my Cardano positions when we were up here. I have very little left. I took profits, and I moved it to Avalanche and Algo. Those are my new favorites. I want, I think we're going to see probably 5x on Avalanche. AVAX, basically. Take a look at the AVAX chart. I moved it to AVAX, like over here and then over here. It looks like it'll also have a pullback as well, but it is doing relatively stable, as you guys see. I like charts like this, right? We consolidate here, we went up. We're going to consolidate somewhere around here, we're going to go up. So, and look, squeeze fire to the upside. This thing is going up, even though it may just pull back a little bit with Bitcoin. You will see probably pretty soon 3-digit AVAX numbers here. Hopefully, some of you entered with me on this. I post everything on the Crypto and Lambo website, the Twitter. If you follow that, you're going to see these postings. Like I have, if you go to my trading view, I post these before they happen, right? I kind of predict them so you can see it. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But like when I posted AVAX, it was down here. You know, I kind of expected a pullback and then go up. So that's kind of what it did. It pulled back a little longer, but it came back up and hit my first price target. Okay. Now, it hasn't hit the second price target, but I think we're forming a nice consolidation here. Obviously, if Bitcoin crashes, none of this matter, but this is a solid project with good fundamentals, and the squeeze really played out perfectly. The other one is, I don't know if I posted Algo. Yeah, I posted Algo. Probably it's not doing very well. I think I got this one wrong. Oh, no, it's coming. So I have the buy zone right here. So we need this thing to come down. And then you guys want to buy. Like, these are the spider lines that kind of the support that's coming from like way back. So yeah, wait for this anywhere between 192, like where are we? 196. So it's pretty close. So this is at the buy zone. This is a long-term hold for me. I have a good decent size of this. I bought it down here. Okay. I think I added here, but I would add more here, and it comes back. And then I'll share one more, and then like I shared, I think Solana here. I have a big chunk of Solana. When I did this, right, I gave my target. It just hit my first target and second target very quickly, and then it pulled back. It's getting back to buy zone again. So if you miss this move, you're getting a second chance for the long term. Solana at 137, 135, great buy. Look how the squeeze is setting up, Karthik. This thing is gonna fly at, I think, it's not unreasonable to see a Solana that's $500. They did have some issues with their blockchain last week. All right. I think enough for crypto. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay, my friend, I'm always very curious about your views of economic events and what you're going to do with the indices. Especially, I'm curious about NASDAQ, what you're seeing. I scaled into Amazon, but I don't know if it was a good idea or not. It looked like a good setup, but still bearish pressures on the indices this week.
Yeah, no, that's a good overview on cryptos, as usual. Appreciate that. Let's just pull up my usual routine that I do every week. Please stop me if you guys have any questions. You guys can see my screen and hear me okay, right? E.O., can you hear me okay, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. All right, the biggest market events, like everybody else that I'm watching this week, is the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. Look for some information from Mr. Powell on tapering interest rates, etc. So that could be a big market moving event for the upcoming week on Wednesday. Typically, what I see is going into the FOMC meeting, people are historically kind of generally bullish going into the FOMC meeting. I think the futures are kind of a little bit down this evening on the open, but that's kind of one big event you guys should all keep an eye on going into the upcoming week. The next one is, I guess, the Fed Chair Powell is also he's speaking on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Could be kind of see what happens after his Wednesday event on FOMC. So keep an eye on those things. I think China is on everybody's mind, EO, guys, especially in relation to this real estate company called Evergrande, I think. They have approximately like a $310 billion in debt, which is could be interesting to watch how that kind of matures and how that plays going into this week, especially that could be kind of a big black swan event. I mean, it's like $310 billion. I'm not sure if that event, if something happens to those guys, it could blow up and it could be kind of a downturn in other US markets because some of the big banks like Goldman Sachs kind of hold this kind of real estate debt from a Chinese real estate company. So watch for that BS next week and see what happens. It could be just like a blip in the radar, but like whatever that kind of comes up to, just keep an eye on those kind of things. Hopefully, it's not like a Lehman type of an event where the a big market roll down that could potentially could happen. But with that said, let's look at some of the indexes. I think the biggest thing that I want to kind of bring to everybody's attention this week is historically this week has been like a weakest week. I want to kind of pull something together this evening for you guys to look at. Just give me 1 second here. Historically, this week is going to be a weakest week in September, but this year we are seeing, 2 weeks of selling before we even get to the weakest week. Did those big guys already front run this weakest week? So that's the question I'm asking myself, and see how we're going to set up for the upcoming week. This is some, let's see if I can blow this screen up a little bit. I'm not sure if this is kind of viewable. If it's too small, I apologize. But what this is basically saying is, if the SPX closes down for the first 2 weeks, what is going to be the next week? How is it going to look like in terms of the next week's return? This plots, what's the return from 1960 to 2020, like last 50, 60 years. Take it for what it is worth. If it's this upcoming week, it's almost like it's saying it's like, we are going to be down approximately like 1.5%. But like 1 week, I guess is 1989 kind of was an outlier in terms of a positive returns. But if it is down for first couple of weeks and the next week's, which is the upcoming week's return should be down. I guess with that said, let's take a look at the money calendar when EO walks us through with that. But I think, what I'm thinking is, did they really front run this weakest week? And do we kind of look forward for the positive upside bias into the coming week? Let's just take a look at NQ, for example, before going into the sentiment, kind of what it's going to look like. We talked about last week, considering the options expiration week last week, and we saw a wide range reversal on Friday, right? I mean, do we expect volatility to this extent? the answer to the question was yes. The expected move on the S&P was kind of a big move, but we didn't really kind of touch those expected moves. With respect to NQ, we are right pulling down to this 34 EMA, guys. This is my typical buy zone when it comes up to buying some calls. I did buy some QQQ calls on Friday and some XLK calls. Let's see what happens this week. Historically, if you go back and look at it, right, I mean, the way they pulled back into this 34 EMA is the one that bounced. Friday may not be kind of a day where you could buy it because of option expiration, a lot of shenanigans going on. But look for some kind of an inside day or a minor low pattern to follow here. But I think QQQ is the best thing that I see in the marketplace to kind of take a look at from a longer side. I guess with that said, look at the sentiment for NQ, guys. We talked about last week, right? I mean, didn't we? Perfect overbought a market in terms of kind of the sentiment indicator here, right? This is the kind of the overbought zone, meaning potential sell zone where you could look at for selling NQ. I think that's exactly what happened, back to the neutral territory. I mean, ideal zone would be to buy here. Kind of, if we get here this week.
Karthik. You have quite a ways to go to the buy zone if it's at the bottom.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's a long way, but it can take a couple of days to get there. So it could be interesting sentiment to watch. Where is S&P? Let's see. Look at S&P, guys. I was just pulled this together late before this session. It's pulled back pretty right down to the neutral level here, less than neutral too, right? Like 30, 40 from a sentiment standpoint. This could be closer to a buy zone too when we get any pullback this week on the ES. So take this in stride in terms of, how you're using this on a intraday basis as well as for a swing positions. But I would like to share this index sentiment with you guys to kind of see how certain markets look like crude, for example, is in a sell zone right now. You could kind of pull back into some neutral territory to kind of play this game here on crude. And I think I had gold somewhere, but I can't see this here. I will replace this with gold once I finish this call. In terms of see how the gold looks like, and I'll share this link with you guys. That's my index kind of sentiment. See if people have any questions. If not, I'm going to look at sector sentiment as usual for this week. And there are a lot of things setting up, guys, this week. I'll look at this potential sentiment indicator for materials right there in the buy zone. Utilities, obviously, these are some of the, this is defensive, obviously, and then retail is in the buy zone, close to the buy zone. There are certain other things right in the middle of the zone, like XME, which has mining and metals. Financials it looks interesting. So a lot of things looks interesting right here, right? With the markets pulling back. XLF, XLV is in the buy zone. Not really in the buy zone. We need just like one more push down to get to that level. XHB here again. But technology and the semiconductors, they are a little bit far away from the buy zone for me to kind of initiate anything new here. But the SMH is like, keep these sentiment indicators in back of your mind as you trade any of these sectors. And same thing with the XLY, is right there in the neutral zone as well. So with that said, So, there are a lot of things setting up, but not right now. We may need some little bit more sell-off, which we could get this week with the FOMC in place. We may we may kind of get our chance to get load up on some of these individual sectors. Even though I was upfront with you guys in terms of telling you that I did buy some QQQ calls going into Friday's close. Let's see how this plays out, and that's kind of my take on the market for the upcoming week here. And I would be happy to take any questions if folks have any questions.
Why don't we, while we get questions, why don't we take a look at the money calendar? I've been posting it on the website, but just to share. Let's see. I'll share my. All right, where did it go? All right, so let's go back to. So as you can see, in September, typically, like this is the week we get the biggest pullback. This is looking at, for those of you who may not know, as money calendar looks at the, trading patterns for the last 10 years. So this is the week that typically in September, where you get the, probably the weakest week, like Karthik mentioned. However, like last 2 weeks, we did have pullbacks. And, the question is valid. Did the big guys front run this whole thing? It's possible. But we may still have a soft week this week. So let's be cautious. Still with our trades, I'm mostly in cash, even though I did get into a trade on Friday. I have an, market cipher Amazon buy, and then so we'll see. I mean, that's probably the only bullish position I have. The other things that I'm kind of waiting, but I'll be looking for buying opportunities. As you guys, I think we shared this in the past weeks, but look at October. Starting October, we are looking at a very green month, and provided that the Fed guidance and any of those don't create any black swan type events, anything significant with the tapering news, and the market may react in an extreme direction. So we'll have to see how that's going to go. But we are looking at a very, green October, and we need to take advantage of this. That means really this week, we're going to have to look at any big pullbacks, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We should think about those areas where, I don't know, Karthik, how we do this, but looking at how the sentiment is changing throughout the week might be important. If we hit the bottom of the sentiment, and it's buy for that sector, and we are seeing some good names at attractive prices this week, we have to think about, what we do for end of October, or, monthly, weekly or monthly expirations in October for some options trades that may bring in, significant returns. So we have to be kind of careful when to deploy cash, but I think we may get some opportunities this week for bullish positions. Now, having said that, for each of the indices, we do have probably support lines. All of us have. If some of those get broken, they'll change the direction, right? So right now the market still looks bullish. So buy the dips. Still the scenario. but there are levels in different charts. We can go back and look at it. If you break them, they'll change the overall direction below a certain number. We have to pay attention to that, so we can't be just blindly buying the dip. But I think we have an opportunity to kind of get ready for bullish positions for October. What do you think, Karthik? That's kind of my money calendar, like all that.
Yeah, I mean, going into October, I guess I should say going into year end, I agree with you, EO. I think we need to be bullish. I think some of the cycles that I'm looking at from Larry Williams and other things points me to directionally be kind of on the bullish side. But with this market, anything could happen.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Like tomorrow. Just want to look at the power meter. These are the top trades. I typically don't look at anything below 30s. They're all 90% trades, so 9 out of 10 trades were profitable. Still have LRCX at the top.
LRCX.
But I don't like this because we do have a year that's pretty recent that broke the pattern. I think I still would be careful. You don't have to take trades, but Adobe looks good. September 20. So basically, if you were to take a bullish trade on Adobe, September 20. Oh, why is this? This is a one-day trade. This is interesting. So Adobe, this is very interesting. This is the first time I'm seeing. So this is a day trade, guys. You buy in the morning, you sell at the end of the day. You make profits on Adobe last 9 years out of 10. It's a max dollar move or move. So interesting, right?
Yeah, I think Adobe reports on Tuesday, so be careful when you guys pick Adobe to trade.
Okay, is it earnings week? That must be it.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing that on 9/21, which is 9/21 is what, Tuesday? Yeah.
All right, interesting. So maybe there's a so earnings on Tuesday. Then this is a Monday trade, right? September 20 to 20. So day before earnings. This is saying 9 out of 10 years this was a profitable trade. You buy in the morning, I don't know. I don't use money calendar for day trading because it's mostly typically a month-long trade normally. But this is interesting. It's the first time I'm seeing with conviction here, right? It's not a small power meter. So it does have like a decent size move. All right,
can you filter based on the power meter and see what pops up?
Yeah, that's what I did. So I typically do it. This is it's not very powerful.
Okay, so not
LRCX is the most, and then you kind of have the first stop.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, but let's look at Tuesday very quickly. We're not going to find during these days. We're not going to find a lot of good positions. We may find some bearish positions. Look at this: Netflix, Nvidia. These are all bearish. 9 out of 10 trades, you would make these. But if you look at these are like comparably smaller than if you were to make bullish trades with these guys. So that's why I'm always cautious with these. In fact, last week wasn't successful on Netflix. I wouldn't even take this. Nvidia, let me see. Nvidia last 4 years were profitable. Before then, it was break even mostly. So it's a pullback week for Nvidia. And MG, 3M, yeah. Let's see if there's anything on Wednesday. Okay. Wednesday, again, LRCX. We're going to have to look at the chart on this because I know we have a year that breaks it, but LRCX has been on this for a long time. It's interesting. Is this Accenture? I think it's Accenture. Oh, there's a 100% trade here, 48 power. This is bearish. Bearish trade. You sell on September 22nd and you buy back October 1st. And you would have pretty decent profit, 10 out of 10 years. It's an 8-day trade. We should probably look at the chart for MHK. Do you want to pull that up?
I'm pulling that up.
That's the only 100%, I think, with the power meter that's above 30. Yeah. We have one more. Yeah, this looks good too. This is bullish though.
So to the downside is NEE? Is that what it is? Or it's to the upside?
NEE is to the upside.
Okay.
The is to the downside. So we should take a look at those two.
Yeah, we could. I have MHK on my chart. If you want me to give you guys a feedback on MHK. I don't know which sector this is. Mohawk Industries, guys. There's a nice pullback here, right to my 2.5 ATR level here. But just wait for the buy signal here on my. I look at this Ready Aim 5 Pro, which is basically a price-based oscillator. If it gives me a buy signal with an arrow mark to the upside, magenta arrow mark to the upside, I would kind of entertain this to the long side on MHK. I know NEE, that's basically a utility company in Florida. I'm not sure. I guess it's a good pullback actually. We could kind of trade this to the long side if we get a little bit more pullback. Look at this double green trend going into this pullback that I look at. In terms of the momentum and the trend, the structure is pretty good. Let's just look at 34 EMA, see where this is lining up.
Can I show Mohawk online? It has a double blood diamond on weekly chart.
Okay.
So anyhow, I don't have to show, but if you guys look at the weekly, actually you may have 1 or 2 more weeks of down. So that's why Mohawk is bearish trade, and the squeeze is to the downside, and market cipher is to the downside. So it's basically aligning with money calendar's perspective. So you would basically, short this on a move up to 190. So it is about 4 points. So you want to short this at 190 because I'm kind of looking at the weekly candles of Heikin-Ashi. I typically want to do it like the next candle to be pulling up before we do this, but that's on MHK. And what did you say for NEE?
Yeah, MHK, I'm looking at a different perspective here with my my daily bread and butter chart with all these lines and all this kind of things. It's right at the 200 simple moving average right here. I mean, it could get interesting. As I said before, just wait for some buy signals to pop up here. If we can get a trade in here, if you are willing to the long side on Mohawk Industries. With any
Karthik, basically because of the weekly, daily chart could pull back all the way to 190. It would still be on the bearish trend. Weekly looks bad.
Okay. I mean, for me, I think if you go back and look at the historical levels to watch on the oversold level, I mean, this is like a sideways market, obviously to the bearish side, but I think we could entertain, this is my Darvish box.
It didn't have a bounce. I think it'll have a bounce even on market side where it says it'll have a bounce back up to like 190s.
Gotcha. Right. Exactly.
Don't short it there. Definitely don't short it here.
Exactly. You're right.
Yeah.
Let's look at NEE. This is an interesting view on my charts here that I'm looking at right at the support level here at the 50-day simple moving average. See if you get like an inside day or like a minor low pattern, like a down move and back up here, and then we can get back up in here, something like this. Could be kind of a good buy zone. I mean, considering this is a defensive play and a utility company, we could see some bounce if there is a downturn in the market. So is any bullish on the money calendar too? Is that what you saw?
Any is bullish. Any bullish. Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of my take on the NEA, guys.
Perfect. Let's go back and just finish money calendar, and then guys, in the meantime, post any stocks you want us to look at. Now we'll take a look. Let me just go back to the money calendar. We'll just finish the rest of the week. Okay, so now we start getting some other bullish trades. September 23rd. These are all 9 out of 10. They're not 100% though. Is this a SPAC? This is SPAC, yeah. I think. Let me see how Friday is like. We may get our best opportunities this Friday. Netflix goes back on a bullish. Becomes a buy. Look at this. This is beautiful. So we may look into Netflix. We probably should look at the chart of Netflix to see if it's kind of pulling back to a buy zone or did it already move. So yeah, from this list, let's look at Netflix. Let me see. Well, Apple is on this list as well. So probably Apple and Netflix. Let's take a look. Karthik.
Yeah, Netflix looks pretty good. I mean, you can look at your charts and see how it's holding up pretty well considering the market is going down. Netflix is pretty bullish, I think.
Yeah. So let me take a look at it. I'm gonna look at a market cipher. Netflix. Now we got this pullback. We're in the median. This is a 4-hour. We have a 4-hour buy signal, guys. This is interesting. Let me see. Daily still has a downside move. Oh my god. Daily, we have a VWAP nicely coming towards the 0 line. Yeah, I guess any pullback down here is a buy. We still have this momentum wave coming down, so I wouldn't be surprised if we come down and retest these 575 level. That's a great buy. But this VWAP kind of turning indicates to me that this momentum wave is going to turn from here. It's not going to cross down. Let me just see the weekly chart. Yeah, weekly squeeze fired. In a momentum wave is about to show one of these red dots. So that's the conflicting signal. As you guys can see in the previous red dots, we got decent pulls. We'll have to see. Yeah, as VWAP is coming down. So weekly scale, it's down, but obviously smaller scales might come in and trigger the higher levels for the other way. So we'll have to see. how much Netflix pulls back by this Friday, we should consider a potential buying opportunity. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, 30 minutes, we have a buy signal, guys. Look at this. So 30-minute signal. This is perfect for the sessions I shared with you guys with Market Cipher. Okay. So we have, look at this curvature, Karthik. You have this red curvature. So it's going from red money flow to a green money flow. And then what we have is a big wave coming smaller and smaller. So you have a trigger buy here, unless like this was a fake out, right? You could have bought here and then you would have been done here. So you have another one of these. So at the very least, this looks pretty good for a, next 2 days. This thing might move to the upside. Yeah, I may not wait till Friday. I mean, we may move Monday, Tuesday. Do you want to take a look at Netflix or Apple?
Yeah, I can look at Netflix here. Just to give me 1 second. I mean, all the things that I'm looking at, I agree with you. The structure itself from this product, both my indicators are pointing me, in terms of the trend and the sentiment, both are bullish, right? You see the double green in here. It's kind of holding up pretty well. And you see these propulsion dots in here, 3, 4, 5 propulsion dots, which is like the 21 EMA for me. If it pulls back, like you said, the 575 level could be kind of initiate my entry in here. That could be kind of a moderate entry, but also wait for the pullback into this 34 EMA lines that you guys see in here, the blue, green, and the red. That could be like anywhere between 556 to 575. So that could be my entry zone in here for Netflix. The chart looks pretty bullish though, right? Yeah, I mean, I like it actually. I don't trade this product very often, but like looking at Netflix could be interesting. For keep an eye on this one to the long side next week.
Yeah, I like the fact that on the 30-minute you have a trigger wave buy with money flow crossing over. We'll see, but the higher time frames kind of indicating a pullback. So we'll have to see how that's going to play out. Can you take a look at Apple?
Oh, Apple. I mean, as you all know, the Apple, like, in terms of the market cap, this can affect like the S&P, YM, which is the Dow and NQ. It did pull back on Friday after, I think they had like some kind of an event last week in terms of their new iPhone release. Not sure if they had any good price action from that event. It's right here at this 50 exponential moving average. I mean, I'm closely keeping an eye on this one because this can kind of make or break in terms of how the market moves as well. I don't have any buy signals exactly when I'm looking at from a momentum perspective. It's closer to a buy zone, but not really giving me any buy signals, either in terms of my squeeze or my Ready Aim Fire Pro. But keep an eye on this. I think this could be anything could. If Apple moves, I think the market will move in the same direction as the Apple. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I really don't like the fact that weekly looks like there's going to be a pullback. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like previously, we did this W thing here, and we went up. We kind of did the same thing here, this W, you guys see, and then we kind of came down. So, we could be at this level or at this level. So if we're here, we're going to do a quick up and then pull back nasty, or this is going to come back to the median for a buy zone, right? It could pull back to, from these levels to 141. Let's take a look at Google for Bruce, and then let's see, weekly obviously looks really bullish. Let me see daily. Weekly indicates like a small pullback similar to Apple, but it could be just like this here. You kind of consolidate here. Ooh, we have a blood diamond on daily, guys. Okay, so let's take a look how it interacted with blood diamond in the past. So we kind of had this here, we had this. So we had previous blood diamonds during squeezes. That's not very, it didn't follow through. It did have pullbacks though. These look like small pullbacks, but they're not. Like 2072, 70-point moves. These are. So they're not that small. So you could get a 2 to 3 bar pullback here. So if this thing, it's like 2862, 2800. Where did we close? 20. So you may come back, you kind of 1 or 2 more bars, 2 more days of down. So you may get like, 2770 or something like that. It'll come down. So it looks like it's going to come down and kind of play through, kind of similar to these. Thank God they are not really big moves. They're like, it looks like blood diamond on these Google chart. It's relatively small. They're like 70, 80-point moves, okay? So we may have a pullback on Google. And I think that kind of pullback it brings it to a buy zone. So everything is by the dip kind of situation, which is just scary, Karthik. I don't know how long we go like that.
Yeah, I mean, right, Google, especially this year, right? I mean, it's run up pretty well. In terms of the percentage move, is a big mover this year. I agree with you. I think we look at this Google chart. I am bullish anywhere between 2775 to 2800. That's kind of my zone to buy. Potentially those 34 EMA zone holds on the pullback and see how this plays out. I mean, I would still play to the long side on Google.
Like the 4 hour market, we could visit 2760 based on historical movements. We'll see.
Yeah.
Let's look at Microsoft for Bruce. Do you want to take a look?
Yeah, sure. Microsoft, again, in terms of, let me just share my chart in here. Bruce, I think, I mean, I'm sure you're trading this to the long side. It's pretty bullish in terms of the structure here. I look at this double green. I wouldn't definitely trade this to the short side, but just wait for, if you're not already in, wait for anywhere between. I think you could enter the trade on Monday if there is some pullback into these zones in here between 297 all the way through 293. That's kind of my buy zone. I mean, the 50-day is pretty close to this 34 EMA on the close, which is around 292. With the buybacks and all that stuff that's going on with Microsoft, could be this price level could kind of hold. I mean, with that said, I mean, look at this. It's been trading sideways for last month or so, like since August. I mean, you could see an upward move. The market moves to the upside, right? But I think that if you want to kind of stay long for Microsoft, if it's anywhere in this zone around 295 level, would be my kind of take on Microsoft.
Can you take a look at Facebook as well? And I'm looking at Facebook as well.
Yeah, sure. Facebook. All right, this is interesting. It's just turned sideways on my indicators. Like if you look at this It's been kind of double green all the way through in here, right? It's just turned recently on this pullback. I would just entertain Facebook to the long side right here, actually, looking at 364, 365 level right here. I would entertain to the long side on Facebook.
Yeah, I think I was just looking at it. The chart, this daily chart, is really bullish. Anytime you have pullbacks to -1 ATR on daily as a buy. Market cipher indicates green money flow. There's consolidation. I still want to wait for a day or two. Let me see if weekly looks like a pullback. Yeah, weekly looks like a pullback. So see this red diamond here, and this red dot. It's like it's just trying to decide where to go. You may have pullbacks to 350s, and you would still be bullish. Yeah, I would wait. We could probably have like another bar here, kind of coming down. Or like if you ask me, it looks like it's just gonna trade in a range and just consolidate here, as opposed to have a major pullback, just because of market cipher. And it's also, guys, you guys know, like when you have squeeze fire, and then kind of the stock settle, and then you have these dark blue bars. That's where, most of the time squeeze kind of settles and cools off. So this thing is, probably, this is weekly chart. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing stays in the range for several weeks to come. So this is not I would just wait, to see. You want to catch like Facebook on a situation like this. You see how it is when you have a buy signal here? It's basically, you have a big wave. You have, all these smaller waves were buys, and you would have caught it. So you have this big wave. So this was a buy. So, wait for this momentum wave to come down and then give us another smaller wave here. Then you're looking at a higher numbers. That's really it, Karthik. Anything else you want to share with the team?
No, I mean, that's kind of what my, I think the one that I wanted to share this week was exactly the NQ. I think some of these things that we looked at in terms of the stocks, individual stocks, keep an eye on the NQ, because that could be the one that's more from a structure and the environment standpoint could be bullish, and we could get some play this week. Obviously, everybody is thinking, to the bearish side in terms of this week. Did they front run this bearish weakest week? Be nimble. I mean, as you all know, that I do day trade using my setups in terms of kind of trading it for like a couple of hours during the day. The first couple of hours, trying to be as nimble as possible, either to the bullish or to the bearish side, based on the setups that I use. For a swing trade, keep your powder dry, and we can get a lot of opportunities in terms of actually getting some good setups to buy into going into year end. I think that's kind of what my message to the team is here. E.O., back to you.
I just put the Bitcoin chart on, right? It's nicely pulling back to the pattern I showed in the beginning. So we're down to 47. I think it went down to 40. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing tonight tests this, and then when we wake up, it's this is the 4-hour chart. So yeah, we may continue this tonight and tomorrow. You end up here, and then look for buy signals tomorrow.
The one last thing, I think, do you mind looking, because I keep looking at bonds do you mind sharing your thoughts on bonds before we end this session? Is that something that you could?
Yeah, let's take a look. Is it ZB?
ZB, yeah. I know you don't trade much of bonds, but
yeah, I'm not. I don't like. Yeah, I can look at the chart, right? So on the 4-hour chart, look at this. You have a nice. So you had this squeeze firing to the downside. So it's going to consolidate here, but you do have a market cipher buy signal here right now. You want to make sure this thing closes and you look at the next candle for trade. Okay? Just make sure this green dot stays. Sometimes it doesn't. And look at this curvature. So you're about to give a buy signal. That's 4-hour. Let me just see daily. Oh, daily, we are in this blood diamond, Karthik. So that changes my view because this curvature on the daily higher time frame is to the downside. So you guys know how I trade these, right? These are high Kanashi candles. So I would see the next candle to come up all the way here. So you might have a pull up to, where is this? Just the middle of this, basically 163. So you might have an up move right now, which is 4-hour chart is telling us. 163 would be probably sell this thing to downside. So if you think about, if you look at like the previous ones, blood diamonds, you get probably like three to 4 candles to the downside. So, oops, I just missed it. So this has one more candle to the downside, so it could come down. So I don't know. Risk reward may not be there for the downside or upside. It looks like it's going to stay in this range. Maybe it comes down here and then makes a W here. It just looks like it's going to do that. We'll have to see. Like, you want to see this momentum wave to complete on the daily. If it completes here and gives a green dot here, chart Karthik, that's a trigger wave buy.
Okay.
Especially with VWAP turning. But if it goes and makes a bigger wave and gives a green dot here, that's continuation of this downtrend. So we'll have to. I would wait. I'd wait till this momentum wave to complete. You have one more day. And respect this blood diamond, that there may be another day or two of downside, even though, like I said, high Kanashi candles, like in the shorter time frames, it'll look like it'll come back up, but it's continuing the trend.
Okay, no, that helps. Thanks a ton. I mean, with the FOMC and
what was your view on that prior to Wednesday? Where you think?
No, I mean, I don't have. Because I'm day trading this bonds every day in the morning. I don't have any way to trade this based on the sideways of this product that I'm looking at. I just thought to ask you in terms of your opinion in terms of how the bonds kind of look like, because this could be a market moving event this week. I mean, if the interest rates and that could have a direct impact on some of the heavy tech stocks, like Apple, Microsoft, and Google, and some of the things that we look at on a regular basis. So, thought I could kind of ask you that. That helps me to kind of give some perspective here.
All right, Karthik. Thank you all for joining us on Sunday, and we wish everyone a great week.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and appreciate you all joining and bringing in some good questions in here. Thank you. Take care and enjoy your weekend.
All right.